as much as possible. I think that you guys are just such my vibe tribe, and we're just going to have a ton of fun doing this. I think that from the first episode that we did, like I saw how very inquisitive all of you were, and asking very, very specific, detailed questions and showing that interest with it. So that's truly my passion, is to help others understand so you can read it with me. And my favorite thing in the world is getting DMs or getting messages from my followers who are like, "Hey, I just saw this today," or "Can you help me pick out my we're getting married in September. Which Sunday is the best?" Like that sort of a thing,
Oh,
to
I
where
love
they,
that.
yeah, it's so sweet. It's so incredibly heartwarming to me and encouraging to me, because I'm seeing the results of helping people, through the
Mhm.
numbers. So I love it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an incredible adventure. There are so many questions I actually have for you that I'm going to space out over time, whether it's conspiracy theories, whether it's aliens, what do you
Right.
believe? But don't answer right now. But
We'll get into it.
that, yes, from the demonic standpoint, all the possessions that are happening, people hurting other people saying they were possessed. There are just so many things with numbers and your abilities that we can get into as we go, on forward, with the show. So
Love
yeah,
it.
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That sort of stuff is like, again, just great alignment with this team and Strange Darkness, because you guys get into the meat of the stuff that I really like to talk about. It is all connected. It's not only all connected to numbers, it's also very spiritual and very energetic. We are, the Bible says we battle not against a flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers in high places. And regardless of if you're Buddhist or if you're even atheist, what have you, we discuss before everything is energy. And what's another term for energy on the ghost shows? Spirits. So spirit,
Yeah.
it's energy. So we need to understand who we are as spirit energy, as souls who are having a human experience, and how that translates into our simulation and other areas of our experience, as well as what happens afterwards. We have such an incredible story. I don't know when we'll talk about it, but I keep talking about Big Daddy and the 111 markers. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, that's just one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard of. And I experienced it myself in front of my family. And my father literally showed himself to my entire family less than 24 hours after his funeral when I asked him to show me signs. And so he's helping me to get this message out there to the world of like, hey, we are so much more than what we were taught that we were, and God is so much more than what we were taught that God was. So that's the whole point. Once we can figure out that, you know what, I actually do have abilities, and I do have a birthright to be free, and I do have a birthright to have victory over these things, and I do not have to be, manipulated or controlled, or I can do certain things to maintain my health and heal myself from the damage, and so on and so forth. It just goes in every which direction. So our goal is to heal humanity from the numbers down, so to speak.
Yeah, perfect.
I love the way you put that, just all of it about, the simulation and spirit and energy. And I resonate a lot with that. And I feel like probably a lot of our listeners also, and you just put it in a really good way. I usually find it hard to, put these kinds of things into words and discuss them. So I just love the way you put that. It's really good.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
And just for our listeners, now
Sure.
people who follow you and know about you, they know why. Two things: you will look at numbers, then you will say a phrase or a word or words, and so I just want everyone to. Can you tell them a little bit about that? Meaning, when you look and you see a certain set of numbers, then you'll say Big Daddy. So they don't. You're calling me Big Daddy or you know
Yeah.
only because when I was editing the show, and I was like, people will probably not know really what's
Yeah.
happening.
Right, right. They're gonna be
Our
like, Big
audience
Daddy, what you
yeah,
on? Yeah.
until
Okay.
you're on. Yeah. So let them know what
Great
that's about.
sharpness. Okay. So Big Daddy is Big Daddy's kind of like a keyword for me in ways, but Big Daddy is my father right there. That's him,
Mhm.
Michael Rothblatt,
Mhm.
who passed away on September 7th of 2021. He was he lived in the corner of Tucson in the desert, and he was supposed to be traveling. He was a very, very busy, active man. He had just come from a hunting trip with my uncles, my cousins, and so we thought everything was fine. I hadn't heard from him in a few days. We did a wellness check through the sheriff's department, and they found him on the 13th. So
Oh,
Oh my God.
yeah, it
Mm.
was a
So
little.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a surprise to everybody, and obviously very, very tragic. But what happened, and I'll go into the details of this sometime in full. Number one, because it's always I will likely shed several tears, and so I'm just going to be straight up. That's my dad. It's my best friend, you know.
yeah.
So
Oh,
Mhm.
sure.
when that time comes, just be prepared. I'm a little
Yeah.
bit of an empath like that, but
Mm.
also it's a pretty in-depth story. And Bobby, we can work together on maybe getting you some of the footage and stuff like that that you can share with the viewers
Okay.
social media, because just seeing the actual footage that I captured of this moment is absolutely incredible of my dad showing and knowing the backstory and how incredible it is. It everybody who hears it is like goosebumps immediately, and they see it put together through different timelines, and it's a really great and incredible story. But the reason that I keep talking about Big Daddy is because he does help me with all of this, right?
Yeah.
Um, and he's going through this experience with me as energy because, you know, this is going to sound kind of weird, and I would never wish anything. It's almost as if it was meant to be.
Hmm.
Um, he did pass so that he could help me in other ways. And I hate to
Yeah.
say it that way because I want my dad back, but I have
Mhm.
him in other ways now. And he makes sure that he lets me know. And it took me a while. And the reason 111 is his marker is because this whole story had to do with the Cowboys game. The reason I'm a Cowboys fan is Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Um, it, it was a Cowboys game, the only game that we ever attended together at the AT&T Stadium here. He had been to plenty throughout his life. I had been to plenty myself, but never together. And so this date was on 11/10 of 2019. We played the Vikings. We lost to the Vikings, but and then the
Oh.
next day was 11/11. So two very, very big numbers in numerology, but um, there was such incredible happenings that happened from the 10th to the 11th that day, and multiple things that were caught on video that come into the story, come and play, into play a little bit later. And so the
Mhm.
111 is looking at November 10th, and that was the date that we went to that game. So, and it took me over a year of seeing the 111 like 4 to 8 times a day. And I'm like, what is this? Is
Mhm.
people chasing me? All of that. No,
Hmm.
it was my dad saying hello and reminding me of November 10th when we went to that game, and to always remember that, because when he showed himself the day after his funeral, it is in reference to that game. So
Hmm.
that's how it
Mm.
ties in together. And um, there's people who have never met me and who are skeptics that hear the story are like blown away by it. So my dad was bigger than life. 6'9", and just like that person that everybody loved. He was Big Daddy. Everybody loved him.